Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into full moon rituals? We're using this really cool guide as our source today. It's got all sorts of tips on how to harness the energy of the full moon for manifestation and release.
It's amazing how many cultures have traditions connected to the full moon, isn't it? It's like this universal understanding that it's a special time, a time of heightened energy.
So it's not just werewolves and howling.
Well, there's always room for a good howl. But yeah, the full moon is all about completion. Like it's the peak of everything that's been building since the new moon. If you think about it, it's kind of like reaching the crest of a wave.
Okay, I can see why it's considered so powerful. But how does this lunar energy actually work for things like, manifestation and letting go?
Well, think about how our emotions tend to be kind of amplified during a full moon. You've probably noticed that,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
Well, when we're trying to manifest something, that extra energy can really supercharge our intentions. And it's the same with releasing stuff. We can use that heightened emotional state to really let go of things that aren't serving us anymore.
That makes sense. So where do rituals come in? I mean, why not just focus on our intentions whenever we feel like it?
That's a good question. Rituals give us a framework, a focused way to channel all that energy. It's like creating a sacred container for your intentions. It allows you to work with the energy in a really deliberate and meaningful way.
I like that. The guide mentions gathering specific tools for the ritual, things like candles, crystals, a journal. It's almost like we're prepping for a magical ceremony.
It does have that kind of vibe,
Yeah.
right? And those tools actually help create a sacred atmosphere. They kind of act as allies during your ritual. For example, even the color of the candles you choose can align with certain intentions, like white for purity, green for abundance. It's all about symbolism and amplifying your focus.
Ah, so it's not just about aesthetics. There's a real purpose behind each element. I'm into that.
Exactly. And even where you place these things in your space can influence the energy flow. It's almost like setting the stage for a powerful performance. And speaking of space cleansing is super important before we even think about starting a ritual.
Cleansing, like a spiritual spring cleaning.
You got it. Clearing the energy of your space is key. You can use sage, sound, even just decluttering whatever feels right for you. It's about creating a sanctuary, a blank canvas for your intentions.
I'm picturing this tranquil space bathed in moonlight, ready to soak up all that energy.
That's the idea. And before we get into the actual steps of the ritual, we need to talk about intentions. Like, what are we actually working with here?
Right, because we need a roadmap for the ritual. What's the best way to figure that out?
I like to think of it as two lists. One for release any negative patterns, limiting beliefs, even just those little annoyances that are bugging you. Get it all down on paper. And then your manifestation list. This is for your dreams, your goals, anything you want to attract into your life.
So we get super clear on what we want to let go of and what we want to invite in.
Exactly. That clarity makes your ritual so much more powerful.
Okay, I'm starting to feel the energy already. So we've got our tools, cleansed our space, defined our intentions. What happens next? How do we actually start the full moon ritual?
Well, it all begins with something surprisingly simple, but really, really important.
Don't leave me hanging. What is it?
It all starts with grounding.
Grounding, like connecting to the earth. I thought we were all about the moon here.
We are, but imagine trying to launch a rocket without a stable launch pad, right? That's what grounding is. It anchors your energy so you can fully experience all the ritual's power without feeling scattered or overwhelmed.
Okay, that's a great analogy. So how do we actually do that? How do we ground ourselves during a full moon ritual?
It's honestly easier than you might think. Just find a comfy position, close your eyes, and visualize roots extending from your body, anchoring you deep down into the earth. Take a few deep breaths and really feel that connection.
Wow, even just imagining that is making me feel more centered.
It's amazing, right? And from that grounded state, we can move into the next part of the ritual. And that's where things start to feel really magical.
Okay, I'm hooked. What happens next?
Well, we formally open a sacred space, inviting the full moon's energy into our ritual.
Ooh, opening a sacred space. I like the sound of that.
It's really powerful. Think of it like creating a portal, a dedicated space where you can connect with the lunar energy and your intentions without any distractions. This is where you light your candle, arrange your crystals, and maybe say a few words to set the mood.
So it's all about consciously creating the right atmosphere for the ritual. What kind of words would we say to open a sacred space?
You can really keep it as simple or as elaborate as you like. The most important thing is that you're speaking from the heart and acknowledging the energy you're inviting in. You could say something like, I open this sacred space to the energy of the full moon, welcoming its guidance and power to support my intentions.
I can feel the shift just hearing you say that. It's like we're creating this powerful container for transformation.
Exactly. And from this sacred space, we're ready to dive into the heart of the ritual, which begins with releasing what no longer serves us.
Okay, I'm ready to let go. Tell me more about this release ceremony.
Remember that release list we talked about earlier? Well, now's the time to really use it. You're going to take that list and read each item out loud, really feeling the energy of what you're ready to let go of.
And how do we actually release these things? Do we just say them?
You can, but the guide suggests making it a bit more, well, tangible. You can burn the list safely, of course, or tear it up and bury it outside, even just ripping it up and tossing it to the wind. It's all about symbolically releasing that energy back to the universe.
I love that. There's something so powerful about that physical act of letting go. Like you're really breaking free from those old patterns.
It's incredibly freeing, and as you release each thing, you can even repeat a simple affirmation like, I release what no longer serves me. I am free and renew. It really reinforces the intention.
This is so powerful. So we've grounded, opened our sacred space, and released what we don't want anymore. What happens next on our lunar journey?
Now we move into the exciting part, manifestation.
Manifestation.
Yeah.
This is what I've been waiting for. What's the best way to approach this part of the ritual?
This is where we really tap into the full moon's energy to draw in our desires. Remember that manifestation list? Get that back out, read each item out loud. And the key is to really feel it. Speak with confidence and gratitude, like it's already happening.
So it's not just wishing for it, it's about really believing it.
Exactly. And to make it even more powerful, try holding your list over a bowl of water. Visualize your intentions flowing from you into the water, like you're charging it up with your desires.
Wow, so the water becomes like infused with our intentions. What do we even do with it afterward?
That's up to you. Some people drink it as a way of internalizing those goals. Others use it to water plants, nurturing growth and abundance. You can even use it to anoint yourself during future rituals. It's really all about making it personal.
I love that. So creative. And speaking of things that feel intuitively right, the guide also talks about crystals.
Crystals are amazing for this kind of work. They amplify lunar energy, like little batteries, storing and magnifying the moon's power. You can charge them up under the moonlight or even place them on your list to align them with your intentions.
Like giving them a little lunar boost.
Yeah.
Are there any crystals that are particularly good for full moon rituals?
Oh yeah, for sure. Moonstone's a classic choice for full moon work. It's known to enhance intuition and emotional balancer or, qualities that are already heightened during this lunar phase. Selenite is another great one. It's known for its purifying energy, so it's perfect for clearing out negativity and raising those vibrations. And of course, clear quartz, always a good multitasker. You can program it with any specific intention you have.
I'm definitely feeling the urge to go crystal shopping after this. So we've released what we don't want, we've charged up our intentions, and we've got our crystals all juiced up with that moonlight. What happens next in the ritual?
Now we shift into a time for quiet contemplation, like a meditation or visualization to really solidify everything we've been working on.
Oh, I love a good visualization. How can we do that in a way that really aligns with the full moon's energy?
Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and imagine the full moon's light just bathing you in its glow. Picture your desires manifesting not as some far-off dream, but as a reality. Really feel the emotions that come with achieving those goals. The key is to truly embody the feeling of having what you want.
It's like we're imprinting these intentions on our subconscious mind, making them feel real and attainable.
Exactly. And this deep state of relaxation helps those intentions settle in on a much deeper level.
Okay, I'm feeling so relaxed and energized at the same time. It's amazing. So we've grounded, opened our sacred space, released, manifested, and meditated. Are we done? Is that the whole ritual?
Almost. We have one more step. We formally close our sacred space, signaling that we're finished and ready to integrate these intentions into our daily lives.
It's like drawing the curtains on a powerful performance. How do we do that? How do we close the space in a way that feels meaningful?
It's all about gratitude. Thank the full moon for its energy, thank the elements for their support, and any guides or deities you may have called upon. Then simply blow out your candle and say something like, "This ritual is complete, and I trust the universe to work its magic."
Wow, that feels really grounding and reassuring. Like we've planted these seeds, and now we trust in the process of growth.
Exactly. It's about surrendering control and trusting that the universe will help us align with our highest good.
This whole ritual has been such a beautiful journey, but the guide also mentions some additional things we can do to enhance the experience. What are some of those extra tips?
Oh, there are tons of ways to personalize your ritual and make it even more powerful. The guide talks about incorporating movement, things like dancing, stretching, even yoga, under the moonlight.
I love that. Moving our bodies can really help us release any lingering energy and connect with our intuition. Feels almost celebratory, like we're dancing with the moon.
Absolutely. And another idea is to make some moon water. Just put a jar of water outside under the full moon overnight, and that's it.
Moon water. I've heard so much about this. What's so special about it?
It's thought to be infused with the moon's energy, and you can use it for so many things. You can drink it, add it to your bath, use it to water plants, even just mist your space with it. It's a really simple way to keep that lunar energy flowing even after the ritual is over.
Like a little reminder of the magic we created.
Exactly. And if you're looking for a bit more guidance or maybe some insight, the guide also suggests using divination tools, things like tarot cards or pendulum.
Ooh, I love that. It's like getting a personal message from the universe, totally tailored to your intentions.
It can be such a fun way to gain some clarity or maybe answer a specific question. Just check in with your intuition. Oh, and another thing the guide mentions, singing or chanting during your ritual.
Oh, I bet that would really amplify the energy.
It does. You can use chants, songs, even affirmations that resonate with you. It's such a beautiful way to express yourself and connect with the energy on a deeper level.
Okay, so we've got movement, moon water, divination, chanting. Any other cool tips?
One of the biggest takeaways from the guide, and this is really important, is that your intention matters way more than how complex your ritual is. You don't need a ton of fancy tools or a super elaborate setup to have a really powerful experience.
That is so reassuring. Sometimes I get overwhelmed, like I need to do everything perfectly.
I totally get that. But the key is to trust your intuition and choose what feels right for you. You can keep it simple and still connect with the full moon's energy in a really meaningful way.
I love that. This has been so insightful. We've covered a lot, but there's one element from the guide that really stood out to me, journaling.
Yes. Journaling after you've been working with this energy is so powerful.
It's like a way to process everything and really solidify those intentions, right? What kind of things should we be writing about in our lunar journals?
The guide has some good questions to get you started. Things like, what emotions came up during the ritual? What intentions are you most excited to manifest? How can you align your actions with your intentions in the coming weeks? And what lessons has this lunar cycle taught you?
Those are such great questions to think about. It really helps connect those dots between our inner and outer world.
Exactly. By reflecting on these experiences, we can gain some valuable insights, and we can use them to make adjustments as we move forward.
Well, before we wrap up, I think it's important to touch on safety and practicality, especially for anyone who's new to this whole ritual thing.
Definitely. The guide stresses the importance of fire safety if you're using candles or burning anything during your ritual. Make sure you have a fire-safe container and don't leave anything unattended.
Always good advice. What about other practical things?
The guide suggests finding a space where you won't be disturbed, so you can really focus on your intentions. That might be indoors or outdoors, depending on what you prefer and what the weather's like.
I can see how that would really enhance the experience.
Hmm.
And it's important to remember that if we are doing our rituals outside, we want to be respectful of the environment too.
Absolutely. Leave no trace. Be mindful of the natural world.
Right. And I love how the guide reminds us that if we're feeling overwhelmed, we can always keep things simple.
Yes, remember, intention is everything. You can have a super meaningful ritual with just a few things and a sincere intention.
I love that. It's been such an inspiring deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about how to work with the full moon's energy.
Me too. It's really amazing how these ancient practices can still be so relevant and empowering today.
They give us such a beautiful way to connect with ourselves, with the universe, with the natural rhythms of life.
I couldn't agree more. Well, I think we covered just about everything from the guide today. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap things up?
For me, the biggest thing I'm taking away is that full moon rituals are about so much more than just like following steps.
Mm.
It's really about tapping into your own power, connecting with something bigger than yourself, creating change.
Yeah. I love how the guide really encourages us to, personalize these rituals, make them our own, find what feels authentic.
Totally. So as we wrap up this lunar exploration, let's do a quick recap. Full moon energy, right?
Right.
It's all about completion, reaching that peak, like the crest of a wave.
Mhm.
And it's a super powerful time for both letting go of what's no longer working and de-amplifying those intentions for what we want to bring in.
Right, and rituals give us that framework like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Gathering the tools, clearing the energy, setting those intentions, it all helps us create that sacred space.
Yeah. And we walk through those steps, remember? Grounding, opening the space, releasing,
Yes.
manifesting.
Oh, and all those cool extra tips, dancing, moon water, divination, chanting. I mean, there's so much you can do.
I know, right? And don't forget journaling. That really stood out to me, like the perfect way to integrate all those experiences. What about you? What really resonated with you?
I think it all comes back to intention. It's
Huh.
really the most important thing. Simple or elaborate, what matters is that energy you bring, the clarity of your intention, and the trust you have in the process.
So true. You don't need a ton of fancy stuff. Just start with what you have and go from there.
Exactly. And experiment, find what feels right for you. This is all about self-discovery.
This has been such a good reminder of how powerful it can be to work with the lunar cycles. Like, we have this built-in system for growth and transformation right there in the sky.
Totally. And it's accessible to everyone. All you need is an open mind and a willingness to, give it a try.
So as we head towards that next full moon, I really encourage you to take what we talked about today and create a ritual that feels like you.
Yes. And have fun. It's all about embracing that magic. Let the moon guide you.
Love that. Thanks for diving into this with me.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, until next time, may your intentions be clear, your releases be freeing, and your manifestations be abundant.